So this video is going to be about resources and what you need to do to obtain them. One of the biggest hurdles that any individual can get while becoming homeless is getting past the hurdle of knowing what you need to do. Some people, they're stuck on a bench. They're not sure where to go, how to get there, what they're going to do. If you have a car, your resources are a lot more wide open. You have more capabilities. You're mobile. But at the same time, your car is your home. So keep in mind, if you run out of gas, you're stuck. You always want to be very aware. I'm not going to say restrict, but aware of your how much gas you have in your tank, how much supplies you have left, how much resources you have, because you need to know when you're going to be hungry, when you're not going to have that bread and peanut butter, when you're not going to have any substance, because that's when stuff is going to get a lot worse for you just because of your morality. You can go a day without eating. You can go several days without eating. But the problem is, going several days without eating, you're going to start becoming less productive. You're not going to be... You're just going to give up, and that's going to be rough. Some people may react different than others. Myself personally, I've always been fortunate enough to have some food source of something. Just some way of being able to eat. So, as you can tell, not hitting that homeless dry bones yet. Now, first thing I would do, what I have done, is I went to a service center, filled out a couple packets, and I let the person at the front desk know that I'm homeless. Read through those packets, because if I did not say that, they would have set me on an appointment 30 days later. They would not see you right then and there like how they did with me. Reading the packet actually makes a huge difference, because they will tell you if you're homeless, you can expedite it within 3 days. If you have this, it just shows what kind of care you can get. So you gotta be aware. You gotta be knowledgeable, and the only way you're gonna do that is by checking what kind of things they can provide you. So I got general assistance, which is mainly for, what you're gonna want to do is use it for hygienics, medicine. You can use it for getting over-the-counter medicine. For mine, my GA voucher is set for Food for Less and El Rancho or something like that. If you have it set to a location that only has food, you need to inform your caseworker, hey, listen, I would really like to use this GA for hygienics or Benadryl or cough medicine if possible, in case I get sick. You can hear my sniffles. Did the introduction to this one all in one day, but I have allergies, and in the valley, allergies are pretty bad out here. So I got Benadryl. Finally running low on that, but luckily I get renewed on my GA in 2 days. One thing to keep in mind too is you only get one voucher, so when you use it, that's it. You don't get a remainder balance. You don't get nothing like that. Sometimes you'll get change depending where you go, but it's only up to 99 cents. So I mean, it's not really a good resource to try and come up on some cash for some gas and stuff like that. Now, food stamps, you get a lot more money when it comes to food stamps, so you can buy bananas, bread, all that kind of stuff, fruits, vegetables. I don't recommend buying any frozen stuff or any meat because meat goes bad within 4 hours outside of refrigerating. In fact, in 10 minutes, if the meat is exposed, within 10 minutes, it collects bacteria. And every few minutes after that, it becomes a higher risk. So, one of the things in the food industry that you learn is when you're prepping meat, you get it done and fast. Some places like Safeway, they do it in the fridge. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Another good, reliable source of food is food and clothing closets. Some counties or cities have clothing closets and food closets that are open at specific times. I don't think there's many that are open quite so often now. One of the biggest ones was Salvation Army out here in California. I think they do give emergency food, but it's not really a reliable place, I believe. Don't quote me. Always ask your social services or whatever community center you got going on. But anyways, look up your food and clothing closet. Set up an alarm 2 hours early. It's insanely important because it's first come, first serve. And if you get there later, you get there with only 15 minutes left, you're going to find out that work shirt you needed, that work pants you needed, the food you needed because your food stamps is running low because you didn't budget it enough. Man, it's going to hit you hard. 2 hours ahead of time. Set up camp. Chill out. I'm lucky enough to have a car. So, I mean, that's something I'm going to pretty much state every video. It's a force to have it. I'm sorry about that. But some people don't have that kind of resource. Some people don't. I mean, I wish I could trade my car in for a van. Man, a van would be sweet. Be able to lay down. But you always gotta find out what you have available near you. Some places give out gas cards. Most of the time, they do that when you first get a job or something like that. Some services will give you fill up your tank just so you can get to work and stuff like that until you stabilize. It is one thing good to know about GA is the voucher that they gave you, you do have to pay back. And one of the ways to avoid having to pay is you work it off. And every time you go to collect your voucher, most services have a mailbox for you. Check every week or every other week. But anyways, when you go in to collect your voucher, make sure you're aware of where you need to be and what site you need to go to keep your benefits. For food stamps, you have to fill out a work application form, pretty much stating where you applied, who you talked to, what phone numbers. Get as much information while you're applying as possible. One, that makes you look good. Two, it's important for your service worker to know that you are really trying, that this is what you're really doing. Because they're going to contact them. Believe them or not, they're going to contact. They're going to find out if you're really trying to do all this. For my online ones, I go to one of my service recommended libraries or community centers where they allow you free printing and stuff like that. I go there, print them out, staple it to the little work thing when you get to the office. Now, the worst comes to worst. This comes down to picking up cans. and bottles. One of the best places to always hit, if you hit it at the right time, is busy high traffic areas, such as like a downtown or a mall, uh, because the higher the traffic, the more cans and bottles going through, the more trash. The more trash, the more likely you're going to be able to find something. But if your town has a lot of homeless people, realize that everyone's going to be thinking that same way. What I do is I go to a ritzy area where it's an outdoor mall, such as like this. As you can see, like there's a lot of buildings on lined up near each other. It's like a plaza, but it has a lot more, like there's a Target, Lowe's, all sorts of fashion places and stuff like that. On these outdoor malls, people go inside, they do some shopping, they buy a something to drink. They're going to be walking down, hitting up their next shop, and then they're going to keep walking, and it's all in a line. And they're going to eventually be throwing those cans out right then and there. And all the ones lined up on the outside, you can hit them all, come up pretty well. There's no one camping out here, so I can get all the bottles and cans I want. Then you hit up the recycling center first thing in the morning, get your gas money. So, the biggest things that you're looking for when it comes down to resources that you need: always make sure you got food in hand, always make sure you got water on hand, always make sure that you have some form of like emergency or something like that, some form of vitamin C, nutritional value stuff, just to avoid being sick. And of course, just finding out where you can go for online services, online applications, free printouts. Try and limit the amount of gas you use. Just focus on staying efficient. The more efficient you are, the longer you're going to stretch out the resources that you have, the more successful you are going to be. So stay positive, and as it gets night, sleep well.